Hi guys, this is Yasir, Saeed, and I'm going to show you how to create speed paint in Procreate on my iPad using my Apple Pencil. So let's start. I usually go with a with a square size. It's applicable everywhere, but this time I think I usually go with the square format, square template that they already have, which is about 2048 by 2048 pixels. But I think I'm gonna create a custom one, which is about 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels, and I'll go with 300 dpi, and I'm gonna create the document, and this is what I'm gonna start with. So I'm gonna start with importing the picture. So this is a picture that I have. So as I usually do, I'm gonna resize the picture. It's slightly pixelated, but that's okay. It's a nice picture, where all uh, the tonal variation is very clear. So it's a nice photograph to work on, and I'll just give you an idea of how I approach a picture. First of all, you have to observe the picture clearly. Um, Observe the shadows and the highlights and the mid tones. Just get an idea of the tonal variation. So it's just to give you an idea. I'll just select a color just to highlight and show you where the variations are. So very clearly you can see these areas are where the highlight is, where the light is hitting um, the the face, this portion, some on the lips, this portion, and then I'll select another color, just to give you an idea of where the shadows are. So these are the places where the shadows are. These are the places where the shadows are. So you just need to get an idea of where all these tones are. So I'm gonna select another color just to give you the mid tones and the neutral colors. So these are all mid tones, the base color of the skin. So these are the mid tones. So just to before you start a picture, this is what you need to observe. So I'll just delete, and I'm gonna start with a new layer. I'm gonna select black as my base color and the inking color. So I will go into inking brush, and my favorite, which I usually use, is the studio pen. That is a preset with Procreate, so I'm going to use that. I don't have custom brushes, so I'm just going to start inking using the studio pen. So I usually start with the nose. So I'm gonna start with the nose, just looking at where the main creases are. So after the nose, I'm gonna make the eyes and these crow's feet. Do the other eye. So again, you need to see where most of the strong lines are, and the rest can be done in the shading later. So you don't have to do everything during inking. I mean, this is a nice picture. Um, the lighting is very clear. I'm sure it's a professional photograph. That's why the the lighting is very good. And now I'm gonna do the eyebrows. So you need to, I mean, this requires a bit of practice. You know, I still remember the when I started, and I used to look at a lot of people that I used to follow. They used to do this so easily, and I used to feel that, I'm never gonna be this good with um, with the flow. But I think all it takes is a lot of practice. Practice is the key. So now I'm gonna finish detailing the ear, the other side as well. I think I made a slight mistake. And now I'm gonna do the hair. So once the inking is done, now I'm going to refine the inking. So once this is done, I'm going to use a base color for the skin, and then I'm going to add. So looking at the picture, you need to observe the picture and try and come up with a very neutral base to start with. Obviously you can change this later, so as a reference you'll start with a layer. And one thing I missed is are the tear ducts, and then I need to paint the eyes white. So I'll go back to my base skin tone, and now I need to refine the areas where the software has missed the paint, and usually it's near the hairline and where the small details are. So I'm gonna add those details, refine, and then go to the next step. So I usually, because I need to change all these colors later, I will try and work on as many layers as I can. So right now I'm gonna go for the lip color, and I'm gonna do this in a separate layer. So usually what I do is I go for a slightly darker, dark and dull lip color to start with, and then a lighter pinkish tone for the lower lip. That's usually how I start, because the lower lip gets more light and it tends to be slightly lighter. And obviously once you're doing this, you need to keep an eye on the details, which you can fix later. So right now I think I'm also going to add shades on top, under the eyelid, on the top eyelid, and this is usually um, so yeah, this looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add some color in the eye, and again I'm gonna do this in a separate layer. He has hazel eyes, so I'm gonna go slightly lighter, and because I'm on a separate layer I can always fix this later. So the eyes are done, so I will go back to the inking layer, and I'm gonna finish the the eyelashes, which you can see. So once this is done, I'm going to what I usually do is I use and it depends completely on the picture. So I always have a base color that I already have, and then I use two layers of shadows and two layers of highlights. But it depends. As I proceed, then I'll see if I require more layers or not. But right now I'm going to add on the I'll go slightly darker. In fact, I'll go darker for the first layer of shadows, and I just need to, just have an idea. I'll keep this as the inking layer as my reference, and then I'm gonna add the shadows, the first layer of shadows. So basically, once the major highlights are the shadows are done. So this is the main layer of the shadows. So that's done. Now I'm going to before I start adding the highlights, I'm gonna start working on the lips, and add some shadows and highlights on the lip, using the layer that is for the lip. So you see there's a slight bleed. I'm gonna fix that, and then go back to the layer of the lip and select the color of the lip, and then use a slightly lighter color to add the highlights. So I'm gonna work on the lower lip. In this case, his lower lip is more pink, which I just realized. So probably I'm gonna go paint this again, and then maybe later fix the problems. So right now I'm gonna add highlights to his lip. So this layer is done. Now I'm going to add another layer, which is for the lighter shadows, and I'm gonna add that on top of my hard shadows. So I'm gonna take this as a sample and lighten it up a bit, and then identify where I can see these lighter shadows. So before I carry on, at this point, I'm gonna try and adjust the skin tones so that I get a better idea, because at this point, um, the skin, so I can definitely make this brighter. I can change the. So I am almost done with the process, just giving it the final touches.